When I was 18, I came out as homosexual and my parents weren't okay with it. So right from that point in my life, I was told, you need to support your own lifestyle. It was so hard to realize that there was help there because I just didn't see it. So I did end up signing up to get food stamps. And because I couldn't give them a proof of my address, I didn't even finish the application. I felt like when I needed help, SNAP wasn't there for me.
Young adults sometimes don't know what they're eligible for. And so that's the biggest challenge. We come to them saying, hey, did you know you can apply for this? And they really had no knowledge. So one is the education piece. Okay, here's what you're eligible for. And then two, helping them access these services. I think that's the biggest misconception is they're not going to get the service or they're not eligible or it takes too long.
I've had to start working since I was like 15 to help my mom out. She's a single mom. We were never really on public assistance just because of my mom not wanting to be a part of that program. Food stamps, when I grew up, didn't really have like a positive note. People didn't really talk about if they were on food stamps or not, just because it showed that you needed help from the government. So there's definitely some type of stigma that I still kept in with myself because I could have applied for the program, but I decided not to.
Some of the challenges that my young adults face daily is transportation stability and housing stability. When they don't have family to go to, they don't have people that help them, they don't have friends that'll let them couch surf and stay with them, where do they go?
During the pandemic, I actually ran away from home. And there's various reasons as to why young people can become homeless. In my situation, I wasn't really in a home that was safe. I couldn't apply for housing on my own because I never had credit. And I think there's a lot of jargon when it comes to filling out these applications, when it comes to this process of like a housing assistance program.
Some people are so intimidated with the application process itself. Just the fact that it asks for so much paperwork, for example, like 2 weeks of pay stubs or something like a piece of mail that says your name and your address. If the people who really need the help aren't getting the help because the application is hard, then there's a problem there.
Some issues young adults face is kind of the runaround that they get when they're trying to find out information. They transfer you to like 15 different people and the call will drop somehow. So when you're trying to find out information, it's not that easy to get. People would get discouraged.
I've heard horror stories when it comes to dealing with SNAP, for example, or trying to get a Section 8 voucher, or you're trying to get housing assistance, and the way that people treat you. They don't want to go through that process of feeling like they are being ignored and being looked down upon when trying to access these resources.
A lot of these youth have trauma histories. So when our agencies or other agencies that work with transition age youth come in and say, hey, we want to help you do this, our young adults just are not as trusting because of their histories.
We want these young people to have the best success they can have. And in order to do that, if we give them these safety net programs, they'll be able to get there.
Safety net programs can better serve young adults by making them feel like they matter too, listening to them, communicating with them, not just making them feel like it's a job.
How are we making young adults aware of what they're eligible for? So making sure we target places the young adults are going to hear and or see that information so they know what they have available to them.
Meet young people where they are. Meet them in their campuses. Meet them in large corporation buildings, because that's where a lot of young people work. The people who need the help will know there's help and get the help.
I would want other young people like myself or younger than I am to take the lead in terms of like, what are the changes that they want to see when it comes to these programs? What are resources or supports that could be put in place to make sure that people like them can apply to these programs and not feel intimidated? A lot of times young people don't think that they can actually talk to elected officials and that they can actually advocate for the changes that they want to see. And so I think it's really important for young people to really own their power when it comes to advocacy related things, to be confident in their voice and be confident in the solutions that they want to propose.
It starts at the agency level. Do you have people that are passionate, that will work really hard, that will try to break down the walls that our young adults have, for good reason, set up around themselves where they don't want to let anyone in, and tell us what's really going on so we can best support them? They know more than we do. We're not the experts.
My ideas and my concerns lives matter. You can change things if you were able to speak up and just understand that you are not alone. If we just spoke about it with one another and were trained on how to effectively speak to local, state, and federal politicians, then things will get done.
This is our rights. These are things that matter to us. There's not going to be many people who are really going to vouch for us if we don't say anything. If we don't say there's an issue, no one's going to think there's an issue.